This is Bob Latchford. I'm not bitter, just better.
Not bitter, just better. The all-new Everton podcast.
Right, time for our second preview of the podcast.
First, if you're listening on YouTube or watching on YouTube.
Oh yeah, I forgot. A big hello to our YouTube listeners or watchers. What are they, listeners or watchers?
Well, did you just watch stills of our JPEGs from our Facebook page of random funny Everton stuff? So they're probably just listeners.
Right, okay. Well, hello to our YouTube listeners. And if you've been listening for the last hour, thanks for sticking with us. Our usual weekend preview now. We're playing Sunday again. 1:30 kick-off. A nice little home FA Cup tie, which is what we all wanted when the draw happened.
Yeah, so as we said before, 5th round. You know, if we get through this, it's quarters.
One game away from Wembley.
Yeah, and by no means, though, does that mean we should take this game lightly at all. Swansea have already knocked out Man U in the 3rd round. They had what could have been a tricky away game at Birmingham in the last round, and they beat them 2-1. So it's not just and obviously they won the League Cup last year. It's not going to be a walkover, is it? Decent
cup side, decent footballing side. I think, you know, this season a lot of people have sort of, you know, their opinions on Swansea have diffed a little bit because they haven't done particularly well in the league. They're only actually 1 point ahead of Crystal Palace at the moment, on 27 points in the league. But what you have got to remember is they've been missing, you know, the likes of Michu, who was so important for them last season. And as per what usually happens when Everton get somebody in a cup tie, they've had to change a manager. Well, they've sacked Laudrup anyway, and at the moment they're playing with an interim manager in Gary Monk. And straight away that paid off for them last weekend.
Yeah, so of course, you know, that kind of new manager effect, but not only the new manager effect, it's someone who's been at Swansea basically since year dot, and he was like, you know, throughout the club, I think he was captain, like when they were like really lower down in the leagues. So for somebody who kind of bleeds Swansea, doesn't he? And he just happened to get a 3-0 win over their rivals at the weekend in his first game in charge. So
he Gary Monked all over them, didn't he?
Yeah.
That's what he did with Swansea 3-0 winners against their, you know, bitter rivals Cardiff. And you know, you look at the goal scorers there, Routledge and Dyer, who've been at Swansea now for a while, and we know can hit teams with the pace from wide positions. And the Swansea version of Lukaku, Wilfred Boney, popped up with one towards the end of the game.
He looks decent, but the thing is, he looks decent, but he hasn't made the same kind of impact that Michu did, and that's what's hurt them a little bit, I think.
They're different players, though, aren't they? I actually think Boney's a decent player. You know, I quite rate him. But you look at how they've set up. I don't really like using this term, but I would say the Everton formation. That's how they lined up last weekend anyway against Cardiff. And that's obviously 4 defenders, 2 older midfielders, 3 attacking midfielders and a lone striker. And they've got quality all over the pitch. They've took Martin Emners, Dutch sort of attacking midfielder from Middlesbrough. He was at Middlesbrough, I remember, and then I think he went somewhere else. Maybe he went to Bolton or somewhere. But they've stepped him up to the Premier League anyway after the previous loan period. And he's come into the side and can be a threat. He wears shirt number 57. You don't see many 57s
no.
knocking about, do you?
Is his nickname Heinz?
I like it. Could be. You know, solid enough at centre half with Chico Flores. Would you say he was solid?
Yeah, he's just a bit of a drama queen, isn't he?
And Ashley Williams, who's a decent player.
Decent, yeah.
Baum's back in goal for them now after being injured early in the season.
We talked about him when we did the preview for the away match. He's good shot stopper, isn't he?
Decent keeper. And you can never do a preview of a Swansea game without mentioning the best named player in the world.
Angel Rangel.
Angel Rangel.
Yeah.
But my man to watch actually is going to be Leon Britton.
Leon Britton. He's in and out, isn't he? He's very similar to another Leon.
He is.
And
Leon that we know very well.
Leon Osman. And I think he's very much, because he's come through at Swansea and he's been there, a part of it for... Sorry, he came through at Chelsea, didn't he? But because he was part of Swansea during their kind of rise, he's very, very highly thought of, whereas our Leon isn't, unfortunately.
When Leon Britton is on form, you know, he's a bit like Paul Scholes in just the way that he gets the ball so often. He makes everything look really simple. You know, he doesn't do anything flash, but he must be a joy for other midfielders to play with. Because you just receive the ball, lay it off, look for players to find a bit of space, knock the ball through to them. So if he can cut midfields open.
I've just got a little question for you now. You said they're playing the Everton formation.
Yeah.
But given the fall and rise of Swansea, that documentary, and when Roberto went in there and changed the whole philosophy about the club, are we not playing the Swansea formation? Because it seems to have changed the
You're
whole
probably
club.
right. I think we're both playing the Roberto Martinez formation.
Yeah,
is what I think we're both playing. So yeah, I mean, we always say this, because we've got a game tonight. It's very difficult for us to predict the Everton team at the weekend because we don't know how we're going to come through tonight.
We know, fitness aside, we know that 7 of those players are going to be certain.
Yes, we do.
So we know it's going to be Howard. We know it's going to be the same back four of Baines, Coleman, Distan, and Jagielka. We know it's going to be Barry.
We say this every week.
But this is just for the sake of the YouTube people who are joining us. But the interesting debate there is, is Traore going to make it tonight? If he doesn't make it tonight, surely he's got to make it for Sunday.
I've gone on record by saying I don't think he'll start tonight, but I think we will see him at some point. If we do see him, if he gets a good 15-20 minutes, I think there's a good chance he may start at the weekend. Again, that's all dependent on what happens tonight. I don't think Lukaku's supposedly a week away. I think the Swansea game may come a bit quickly for him. Possibly might make the bench for Swansea. Possibly. Other than that, I don't think there's anyone else to really come back in. Alcaraz is back in training, but
I think we can add one other name to the 7. I think Morales, whether he's going to be up top or on the right wing, I think he's another cert. So I think that's 8 certainties. I think so. 3 places up for grabs between about 6 players.
Yeah, and as we keep saying, it's nigh on impossible to predict who those players are going to be. I've got a strange feeling about this game. I've got a funny feeling it's going to go to a replay and we're going to win the replay.
Don't say that.
I don't. It's just my gut instinct. I'm thinking maybe possibly a 1-1 and we go back to the Liberty Stadium and we beat them there as we did earlier in the season when Ross Barkley scored that cracking free kick.
Yeah, and Seamus got the other screamer, which he thought couldn't have been topped, and arguably was by Ross Barkley's finish, wasn't it? It was just a mad little turnaround there.
My only other thought on it is they're still right, as we've said, they're still right in the mix, aren't they, with regards to, battling for their lives.
Do you think they might not be bothered about the FA Cup?
I think it's probably going to be their second priority. I don't think it's going to be the main priority. Staying in the Premier League will be much more financially beneficial to them than winning the FA Cup. They got a taste of silverware last season, so they're not, as hungry as some clubs might be for a day out to Wembley. Possibly, they might field a weakened team possibly at the weekend to try and conserve some energy for their relegation battle.
It's funny you should say that, and we have had many a debate about our lineups for the FA Cup. This isn't going to be one where you'll see Joel and goal, etc. Is it?
I think you'll see Joel and goal. I think Joel will play every game in the FA Cup.
I can't see it.
No, I do.
I can't see it for this one. No chance. No chance at all, I think.
I think he's been promised the FA Cup games.
I think he's been promised the FA Cup games against no-mark teams like Stevenage.
I think you'd see Joel right the way through to the final.
Yeah.
If that was to happen.
Well, we might. It's not too far away, is it? That's a scary. It's a touching distance.
So a 1-1 and then a replay win. Now, I just want to mention now, there was a bit of an omen this week when I got my hands on the FA Cup.
Yeah.
Which I am taking as an omen. Basically, the story behind this is, some people may have seen this on local news. A friend of mine basically a bloke called Steve entered the competition, which involved, winning tickets or a package for the FA Cup, and won the second prize, which was to have a sleepover at his house with the actual genuine FA Cup trophy. That, the one that gets presented at Wembley, not a replica, the real thing. So I went up there on Friday night, and it was a house full of Evertonians, and we all got to have a little play around with the FA Cup and lift the FA Cup up.
Was there a fella there with white gloves on?
There was two blokes there with white gloves on who were really anal about the way you hold the cup. You can't take the lid off.
You can't put Ribena in it.
You can't do this. You can't do that. However, after about an hour and a half of them being there, they went off to have their evening meal somewhere, leaving the FA Cup in the house, and then we all had it on our head. And
you're going to get those fellas the sack.
Unlucky.
The FA Cup minders are now unemployed.
You shouldn't leave priceless trophies in a house full of scousers unless you want it to be messed about with. That's their lesson in life they need to learn. And if that results in them getting sacked, tough. Because you shouldn't have been shouting at the kids for wanting to play with the FA Cup. So yeah, I have lifted the FA Cup this season, and that's an omen that Everton are going to do the same.
I lifted the FA Cup. I don't think it was the real one. I think it was a replica one in 1995.
There you go.
So yeah,
proves my point exactly.
So I think it's about time to wind down really, and get our coats on and go and brave those blizzards and get off to Goodison Park. And we're going from